tutorials in TvP. We're going to be looking at it a slightly different way, where I'm going to be the Protoss player, playing on unranked for funsies. And we're just going to look at what not to do, mostly, because this Terran pretty much messed up pretty majorly on most ideas when playing Bio. And we're just going to start by going over the principles of Bio, which is basically mobility over straight-up strength. And the best way to abuse that is just dropping everywhere, running around, being aggressive, keeping the Protoss on my feet, or keeping me on my feet in this case. Because, I mean, Protoss is pretty okay dealing with drops, but if you just start dropping everywhere, they got to start splitting up their army pretty majorly. And if you miss split, the splitting wasn't enough, and then like he's just still there. And if you oversplit, you can't defend your front, which is an annoying thing to do as Protoss. But the key is to make it annoying when you're Bio. He's just doing a Reaper expand, pretty normal. Reaper's probably the best opening Terran has. I mean, it's not 100% the best, but it's great in most situations. I kind of like doing it, but there are certainly alternatives that are viable. It's mostly good for spotting early pressure. Pro's just going to kind of chill, just see the gas. It's like, that's all I really care about is Protoss, is just seeing the gas. He went Marine, then Reaper, it appears. Or he just didn't go Reaper at all. Huh, that's weird. Alright, whatever. He went up fast reactor. Just scouting around with the probe, bringing him on home. I played as standard as I could this game, just one gate, one core, expand. Because we like expanding. Expanding is fun. He didn't saturate his gas, which seems kind of weird. I mean, it's kind of weak against early pressure if he does that, because he doesn't have the upgrades in the factory. Factory is just excellent. The Widow Mines are just beautiful for holding Blink All-ins and that kind of thing. I mean, right now he's being kind of active with his Marine. He's running around, but an important thing to think of when you're being active with your Marines is that at about 4:15, a Stalker is out, and it could be around on the map, but mine was pretty passive, like it's moving out now. But after about 14 minutes, or 14:15, or 4:15, oh god, you kind of have to bring these Marines back in, otherwise they'll just get picked off. Because they cannot run away from the Stalker, and the Stalker will just kill them before they can get back to the bunker. Okay, continuing on up. Looks like he's going to go for a 10-minute medevac timing, just by this engineering bay, or just go for fast +1 in general, which is perfectly okay, because we like upgrades. We like stuff. And he's just making Marines out of the one barracks. I think right now it'd be good to either add on the extra gas, or just 2 or 3 more barracks. And he's going to go for barracks mode, more barracks and gas. But restricting or reducing the number of barracks. Getting all the gases. Probably could have just gotten those earlier. I mean, going double gas right now had the same effect as just saturating that and then getting that earlier. He's adding on the factory now, which is perfectly fine for 10-minute medevacs. And the mostly Marines thing, this is pretty good, but I mean, against a Blink All-In, you're in some trouble. And a Blink All-In will be hitting just about now, but a little bit later maybe. But you got to have those tech labs and that a couple Marauders with concussive against Blink All-In. Otherwise, they'll just run in circles around you. And or you need Combat Shield. I mean, 4x Combat Shield Marine is pretty good, but still, it's helpful. Protoss, I'm just making Zealots and Sentries because I want to make as few Stalkers as possible in general. And the fact that I'm basically just sitting here making Stalkers and Zealots is just beautiful. Just having a good time. Making 2 Observers because if he has cloaked stuff, I want to be able to scout with this. And then he kind of sort of decides, like, well, I think I'm going to backdoor you, and then he just decides not to. He actually hit his timing pretty good here, except the stim is too late. The stim is actually probably the more important thing. Seems like he prioritized the, I'm slowed down a little bit, he prioritized the +1 over the stim. It's probably better to get the stim. And he also doesn't have Combat Shield, which is kind of bad in general attacking. Because these Marines will die pretty quickly if they don't have Combat Shield. And I have enough sentries that I can just trap them against a Zealot count that will be jumping up pretty quickly. As soon as I can warp in them more. I need to warp in Zealots now or make something. Whatever. And generally around 11 minutes, Colossus will be done. So you got to be able to hit before then. And the biggest, huge evil mistake he made is this drop will be the only drop he does the entire game. And it's going to do like next to no damage. I think it kind of clipped a couple probes out of the gas, and that was about it. I mean, you really got to be dropping his bio. You got to be abusing your mobility. Because if you try to just go straight up fights, you're going to be in some trouble. Doing the drop, not doing a heck of a lot. Overcharge is a little bit excessive. But it's always cool to watch Marines die to overcharge. Just pretty standard stuff. And I mean, other than that, he kind of just, mostly just didn't get the timing right, or he didn't prioritize his upgrades properly. Idle SCVs are always bad. These should be working. SCVs are always good to be getting. Could be starting the orbital command here. Could be adding on combat shield. Be beautiful. Adding on 2 more barracks would be nice. I think he just needs to go a little more solid with his macro in general. The key with bio is just keep making stuff, because if you miss a bunch of production cycles, you start to get in trouble. Also, canceling this bunker was a bit aggressive in general, because this bunker is really useful at about 12 or 13 minutes, just for tanking a little bit, and the extra 75 minutes won't do a lot. The main thing is he's not utilizing these medevacs and the fact that I have a low stalker count to abuse and drop. I have these 3 stalkers stationed here to deal with drop, but I don't know how much that would do. He's just going to take a 3rd base, which is always fine too. Probably would be good to have this gas over at the natural expansion. But I mean, in general, you just need to be more. You need to be active with your forces in bio. Otherwise, you just get overran in a bunch of straight-up engagements. Upgrades are pretty important as bio, but against Protoss, they're still important, but they're not like as critical as they are in like Terran vs. Zerg. Protoss land, we got about some sentries, some zealots, and a colossus, which will pretty much stop any. If he attacks with this force right now against this many or a bunch of sentries and zealots, it could be in some trouble. He does have a pretty large Viking count, which is always really nice to have against Colossus. And I only have like 1.5 Colossi right now. This force looks a little bit half-baked since the Stalkers are off elsewhere, but I think I'd probably be able to take this straight up if I could get the Vikings out of there, but otherwise, kind of in some trouble. I'm kind of going to rely on good positioning in the Mothership Core to stay alive. But he's just going to chill here. He probably could be dropping, and with every attack in Terran vs. Protoss, when you're going bio, is you usually want to have a drop behind it. Pretty much always just straight Marine. If you know he has a bunch of cannons in the back, you can drop 4 Marauders. But if you're going to go for probes, get only Marines. Marines kill stuff really fast. He's 1-1 to my 1-1 as well, which means we're pretty even on upgrades, but the fact he doesn't have combat shield is absolutely brutal. Also, during this attack, he should be pulling SCVs, which is really a strange thing for me to say because I hate all-ins, but pulling SCVs would win here. Just take all these guys. My AoE will die very quickly because he has so many Vikings. And then he can just tank with the SCVs and kill everything else with the Marines and Marauders. Pulling SCVs here would be a pretty good play. But instead, he's going to go for the 3rd, and he's going to deny it. But generally, when you're bio, you don't want to attack up this alley because it's really easy to lock down and trap and kill everything. And Zealots are going to all die because they don't have charge yet. And the Colossus are going to... Most of them are going to die. I think this one gets away, yeah. Adding on a bunch more Stalkers for our death ball. And losing a 3rd... Killing a Protoss 3rd is always nice. But that could have gone a lot worse if I had a few more Zealots and had some more gateways up earlier. These 2 gateways were gateways for a while. They need to be warp gates. But now at this point, I have enough Stalkers and Colossi to take that 3rd again. At this point, he should be dropping in my natural and my main. Or dropping somewhere. The double-prong drop would be great right now, because I need to focus defense here. And I'm not spread thin at all, so my brutally cost-efficient Colossus and stuff will be beautiful in this position. And the Observer knows where everything is, so if he does do a drop, I'll still be prepared. Which is just awesome. Behind it, he's getting a 4th base, which is excelente. Just waiting for him to come attack me. Being behind on supplies, Protoss really isn't a big deal because your stuff's so much more cost efficient. Also, he's going for the Ghost transition without like scanning to check for the Templar Archive, which is a little bit aggressive with the gas usage. Also, the Lonely Viking attack is a little bit bad because the Viking count is now about half, and he didn't kill a single Colossus. I still have my 3 Colossi. I got the 2nd Robo up, so I'm going to start double pumping him soon. And now, this is probably the biggest engagement he's going to lose here. And this wall is just holding it so I can get back, jump in position, which I'm going to do soon. 2 cannons aren't going to do anything. I mean, it's 2 cannons against a huge bio army. But once again, highlight big mistakes. No combat shield. No concussive shell. Not that many Vikings. 4th base is... Yeah, it's there. That's fine. Needs to be an orbital, though. Needs to saturate the gas. I mean, in general, he's kind of okay, but just crucial upgrades he's forgetting. And also, attacking this 3rd is 90% of the time bad. Because this will happen. Just trapping every single Marine, every single Marauder. Just start killing them. He will kill absolutely nothing here except like a sentry. And I mean, the unit's loss tab went from favoring him semi-heavily to favoring me by a little bit now. It was a huge jump ahead, and I have a secure base now. And he can't attack anymore for a while. So he's just got this. He's got this bio ball, but he lost so much of it just because he overextended. And he wasn't dropping, so I didn't lose any workers. I mean, I'm just gonna look at the workers loss tab right now. It's like 8, and if he was just dropping a ton during that, I would have lost way more. I would have had to spam cannons. I mean, I built a couple cannons here because I expected him to start dropping, but he never really did. And now I'm double pumping Colossi, and that's when things start to get scary for our Terran Bears, is that you just get a colossal Colossus count. Colossal Colossus count. And you need so many Vikings to deal with it, and you need to just be mobile against those Colossi. Now, Colossi are actually pretty good at dealing with drops, in general, just because they can hop up and down cliffs. But they're going to still suffer. They have to be spread so thin. I'm not really going to analyze Protoss that much, which is me, because I messed up a bunch of stuff, because I don't play Protoss. I just off-race as occasionally. I mean, losing even these 2 Vikings is kind of bad. You need to just conserve your units. There's no reason to lose those. Setting up this concave here is pretty awesome, but it's not going to happen, because I'm not really going to attack into that. I'm going to attack over here at this 3rd. I'm not going to ever try to just run into this. I mean, even then, I think I could probably take it. So off I go. The solitary derp losses is going to go off to the left, but whatever. Adding on the 4th base. Probably should be adding on more gateways, but whatever. Terran Bear is just, I mean, he's a kind of sort of low on barracks, but not really. I would have liked this 3-3 to have been prioritized over the ghost tack. Those ghosts aren't really going to do anything. And once, I mean, he's got all his defense here, and I'm just attacking over here. And it's kind of a bad concave for me, but it's all going to be okay. I kind of whiffed the recall. I meant to recall all this out of here. But I mean, in the end, he kind of sort of overproduced Vikings. And I mean, I still had all my Stalkers and Zealots perfectly fine, and he just killed all my Colossi. You gotta be careful with that. I mean, you gotta stop at 14 Vikings. Otherwise, it just gets excessive. And he didn't have the bio army. And I mean, sitting in Colossus fire for that long is a little bit bad. He actually could have just used the 0 ground area right here and just sat his Vikings on there and just shot there. Like, just even without the bio army to cover for them. Just picked off a Colossus or 2 and then drop back. And if you get 14 Vikings, which is the golden number, you can just, like, one-shot a Colossus and then just run away. Which is really awesome. At this point, it just starts going downhill. Starts losing some SCVs. I try my best to trap some, but I only have 1 sentry. Now it's just Stalker Zealot against nominal amounts of bio. Back home, I'm still double pumping Colossus. All those beautiful things. And he's basically dead, so I'm just going to go ×8. I mean, basically the main thing he didn't do was abuse his forces strengths. He didn't use the mobility. He was fighting straight up every time and just dying when he did it. You need to use your forces strength to best your ability, and everything is stuttering around because I'm on ×4, but it doesn't matter because nothing important is happening. He just tries to cling on to life and it doesn't work. Yeah, basically the big lesson from this is use bio with its strengths. Don't try to make it into a front force composition because it just isn't. Also really good to keep up on the base count. He did that pretty well, actually. That was commendable. The barracks count is slightly low. Mostly his marine. I mean, he's got, oh god, 8 tech labs, 1 reactor. I mean, he's a little slow on marines, but with the number of Colossus, that probably wasn't a super bad plan. But he did get a bunch of Vikings too, so I probably would have liked to have seen some more marines. Simply just because of the raw damage output and dropping potential. Okay, and thank you to Dane for setting up all the technical stuff as well as streaming it, since my computer is a potato. All the beautiful graphics as well. Great job. And this is the 2nd episode of TvP. I'll do an actual bio one later from the bio point of view, instead of just like a sort of both player point of view. But this is mostly just like an important big no-nos, because he made some pretty major mistakes, even with an awesome name like Sporks. I love that name so much. Anyway, excuse the sound in the background. I'm sorry about that, but how are we going to avoid it? Live in a strange, strange world. Oh well, just in general, be careful with your bio. Also, one big thing is keep an eye on your army, because it dies so fast if you're going bio. Mech, you just kind of sit there and win, which is just awesome, which is why I mech every time. Okay, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. See you all next time, and try and do good on the ladder.